Today from our correspondents in India. Diplomatic relations between Delhi and Washington were strained in recent weeks, not by political wranglings, but when an Indian diplomat working in the US was accused of underpaying her nanny. The episode has triggered a debate in India about the condition of their millions of domestic workers. Now, they typically earn around €60 a month. In all but 2 states, there are no labour laws regulating minimum pay, maximum hours or official complaints channels. And it's not uncommon to find cases of domestic workers being physically abused. Our reporters Vikram Singh and Mandakini Galo have been to meet some of the so-called invisible maids who feel they have no way out, as well as the campaigners calling for better rights.
7 a.m. in New Delhi, and like 10 million domestic workers across India, Helen Soren is starting her day. For over 9 years, the 26-year-old has been cooking and cleaning in the houses of middle-class families across Delhi.
I was initially brought here to study, but that didn't work out, so then I had no choice but to stay on and work.
Soren works 6 days a week and is paid around €80 a month, a typical salary for domestic workers in a country where cheap labour abounds.
There's no one else working in my family, so I need to send them money. Back home we have food, but money is a big problem.
Maids like Helen have been an essential but ignored part of India's informal economy.
Beaten, burned, humiliated and finally killed.
However, a number of recent high-profile cases involving their exploitation and death have led to a growing debate on how the country treats its domestic workers. Stories of abuse are common in worker settlements like this one. Seema Nair was rescued from police custody by an NGO after a dispute with her employers.
Things were fine until I got sick and took 2 days off, and then my employers accused me of stealing. The police obviously believe them. They don't listen to poor people like me. Anyway, how can they expect us to work after paying us only €6 a month?
No action was taken against Seema's employer for lodging a false accusation or for underpaying her. The frequent mistreatment of domestic workers has been linked by some activists to the traditionally hierarchical nature of Indian society.
So what happens is that most of these people who come to work are coming from not only poor families but also lower caste. So that's also one of the reasons where the people who employ them are exploit them. It's also feudal mindset where the worker is not respected at all.
Efforts are now underway to unionize India's domestic workers. This activist is lobbying for legislation that would give maids the same labour rights as workers in other sectors.
We're here to discuss your problems, if you're getting days off or being underpaid. India lacks comprehensive legislation for domestic workers, and for example in Delhi, we don't even have minimum wage laws or social security board for them. We're asking for social security, like health insurance and pensions for these workers. Until there's a law, who will ensure their rights?
India's parliament has continuously delayed passing a bill to protect domestic workers. It did, however, include them in legislation last year prohibiting sexual harassment at the workplace.
Well, time now for the latest sports news, starting with a good night for Chelsea in the Champions League.